Hello, my name is Virginia Corsini, and this argument of policy speech is for the YMCA. I'm a lifeguard at the Central Virginia Downtown YMCA, and I'm going to be talking about hot tub time limits. I know it isn't very interesting, but recently there was an incident that happened at the YMCA that I was a part of that scared me to death. Usually at the YMCA, people will stay in the hot tub for way past the recommended time limit that we have, which is around 10 minutes. People like to sit in the hot tub for 30 to 45 minutes, and the lifeguards have been told that we can't officially kick anybody out because it's up to their discretion. Recently, when I was at the YMCA guarding, doing my job, a man who usually comes in and sits in the hot tub for an extended period of time was in the hot tub for about 30 minutes, and when he got out, he passed out while he was going down the stairs and fell and hit his head. And when we found him, he was out cold, face down on the ground, and we had to call 911 and get emergency services. And it was terrifying. We did the best that we could, and luckily he went to the hospital. He had low blood pressure, but that was the worst of his injuries. Since then, I've been asking myself what I could have done better and how I could prevent something like that from happening in the future, because I don't want to have to call 911 ever again. The best thing that I could come up with was having a set time limit for how long patrons can be in the hot tub without a break. This would be beneficial to them because it would keep the unhealthy side effects of staying in a hot tub too long away and keep the benefits there. Also, it would keep the patrons from having to know their own time limits, because a lot of patrons don't watch the clock. And finally, it would prevent accidents like the one I had to deal with in the future. Staying in a hot tub too long is harmful to health. According to Wallig 2017, staying in a hot tub too long past the recommended limit can cause dizziness, overheating, and even vomiting. I don't want to have to deal with any of that at the YMCA. According to How Long Should You Soak in a Hot Tub 2015, getting in a hot tub actually lowers your blood pressure by a lot. And this causes your blood vessels to dilate and your heart to have to work harder to pump the blood through your veins. For a healthy person, this wouldn't be a problem. But as lifeguards, we don't know what sort of pre-existing conditions people are walking in with. And this could possibly lead to someone being in an emergency situation because the lifeguards didn't know that their heart couldn't handle the heat. I've seen it myself where patrons don't know their own time limits. People tend to not want to get out of the comfort that they're in, and hot tubs can be rather comfortable. In a study titled Increasing Number of Injuries from Hot Tubs 2009, there was a study done between 1990 and 2007 that showed that there was an increase in hot tub injuries by 160%. That is a huge increase. Now, part of that is because people kept buying more hot tubs and they've gotten more popular, but as that has happened, there have been so many more injuries that have been a result of that. It's gone from 2,500 injuries a year to 6,600 injuries a year. One thing that this study recommended as one of the greatest things to limit this statistic is keeping a 10 to 15 minute time limit. That wouldn't be too hard. With breaks, that would be fine. You could stay in for 30 minutes at a time as long as you take 5-minute breaks in between each 10-minute section. Also, according to Hot Tubs Can Land Your Heart in Hot Water 2014, if you have a heart problem or any other pre-existing condition that the lifeguards probably aren't aware of, if you go in the hot tub and don't know your own time limits, you can severely injure your body, and it won't even take very long. This could lead to an emergency situation. In an emergency situation, someone could pass out, they could feel lightheaded, or they could even drown and die. And that's not something that we as lifeguards want to deal with, because we're taught to prevent that sort of thing. The cause of this issue could just be from the heat of the hot tub alone, but it could also just be someone coming in with a health issue that they don't know is there, or that the lifeguards don't know is there, and they don't know their own limits. According to Drummond, no date, hot tubs have become more and more popular in the last 30 years. In 1979, the Consumer Product Safety Commission sent out a warning saying that if you're staying in a hot tub that's over your normal body temperature for an extended period of time, this could cause drowsiness, which could lead to unconsciousness, which could lead to drowning. This is something that they had to tell people because they were staying in way too long because they were just so comfortable where they were sitting and they didn't want to get out. And they stayed in so long that they just drifted off and ended up drowning. According to Residential Hot Tubs and Pools Healthy and Safety Tips, 2017, people don't like to get out of their own comfort zones. Patrons push the limit because they're so comfortable in the pool of water that they're sitting in. That's understandable. I love sitting in a hot tub because it's very warm and relaxing. But when it becomes a question of safety, that's when you have to get out. And a lot of people don't want to give up the comfort for safety. My suggestion is that there be a set 10 to 15 minute time limit where lifeguards can tell people to get out and take a break. This wouldn't be a problem because if someone takes a 5 to 10 minute break, they can get right back in. It's just that break that can be so beneficial. According to Pool Advisor 2016, if you don't overdo it and take a 5 to 10 minute break every 10 to 15 minutes, that can be so beneficial and it won't overwork your cardiovascular system. Also, according to Hot Tub Benefits 2011, there are so many benefits to sitting in a hot tub, but that's only if you don't overdo it. If you overdo your time limit, you're actually getting more negative effects and canceling out the health benefits that you're getting from sitting in there. If we implement this policy, lifeguards will be able to prevent incidents from happening without having to know the past medical history of every patron that walks into the hot tub. According to YMCA Lifeguard 2017, it is actually the job of a lifeguard to prevent incidents from happening. That's what I'm trying to do with this time limit because I've been in the situation where it could have been prevented. The accident could have been prevented, and I believe it is my job to do that now, prevent accidents in the future. According to MORIG 2017, though the different time limits for each person may be different considering on the health of the person, since the lifeguards don't know the personal health history of those people, then all we can do is adopt rules that we know are going to be safe for everybody. And in this case, that's the 10 to 15 minute limit. So in conclusion, since lifeguards don't know the past history of the patrons, all we can do is uphold rules. That's our job. And we're supposed to be keeping people safe. So I believe that this rule will be keeping people safe. I am all for a relaxing soak in the hot tub. I think all the health benefits are worth it, and that a nice soak can be a great ending to maybe a hard, stressful day. But when it becomes a question of safety, I don't think it should be left up to the judgment of the person who's been coming off a long day of work. I believe that the lifeguards need to be doing their job and keeping people safe from the heat of the hot tub. There should be a set time limit on how long a patron can be in the hot tub at one time without a break, which I suggest to be the 10 to 15 minute time limit, because it can prevent accidents in the future, it can keep all the unhealthy side effects of staying in a hot tub too long far away, and it won't leave it up to the patron to make the judgment call on how long they can stay in the hot tub. So, for the safety of YMCA patrons, please take into consideration what I've said and make the 10 to 15 minute suggestion an actual rule that the lifeguards can enforce so that we can keep everybody safe and do the best that we can at our jobs. So take it into consideration, and thank you for listening to all that I had to say.